Our next speaker, Tharin Sethi, is a year 13 student at New International School of Thailand. He believes strongly in equality, whether should it be in gender, race, etc. He is strongly against the idea of discrimination.
He joined a student-led service group called Dreams We Believe In. The objective is to help Thai HIV-AIDS victims fight the negative stigma against them. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Thank you. Okay, hi, thank you for that very nice introduction. Before I get started, could I just please ask everyone to take a second and imagine. Imagine being born with a disease that has no cure. Imagine being pushed away by society. Imagine not being given a place, not being given the opportunities to succeed. And worst of all, imagine being pushed away by your own family, abandoned by them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the fate of some 15,000 children living in Thailand. They are born with HIV-AIDS. They don't choose to be born the way they are born. They are born with a label on their head. They are born from day one knowing that they will not have the opportunities that you have, that I have. So I ask you, is it fair? Is it fair that today in the 21st century we still have discrimination? Is it fair that after the Holocaust, after the apartheid, after all those events, have we not changed as humans? Are we still the same? Do these children not deserve the respect, the opportunities that we have? This is what I think is unfair, and this is what I want to change. Let me share a little story about one of my friends. Some of you might be familiar with him. His name is Blah, and his story was actually showcased in the movie Living with the Tiger by Mike Thomas. And Blah is 19 years old, and he was born with HIV-AIDS. Both his mom and dad passed away at a very young age, when he was really young. And his uncle and aunt could not live with him. They just could not accept him the way he was and could not treat him as an equal. And so he was sent to an orphanage in Lopburi called Ban Kerda. And he lived there and amongst other HIV children until he turned 18 last year. And when he turned 18, he told the house mother and the person in charge in Ban Kerda that he wants to go back home. He wants to go back to Nakhon Sawan, where his parents were born, where he owns a plot of land that his father farmed in, that his forefathers lived in. It was his father's last wish for him to go back there and continue what the family has been doing for years, and that's what he wanted to do. And he did it. He went back to Nakhon Sawan. He went back to live in his own land, in his own house, but he couldn't do that because he was lonely. When he got there, the village where his father lived, the village where his father was once a leader, the village where his family was so respected, he had no respect whatsoever. The people around could not accept him for who he was. They ignored him, they did not treat him properly. When he went into 7-Eleven to buy something, they just, kept quiet, did not talk to him. So he was lonely and he had to leave. And that is unfair. And that is where Dreams We Believe In came from. Dreams We Believe In is a student-led group that started off in NIST. And we basically help children with HIV. We asked ourselves, not how to prevent HIV, but rather how to help those already suffering. What about the children? That was our question. And we really wanted to give, these children a normal childhood. And when I say a normal childhood, I mean a Christmas party. I mean, we've all been to Christmas parties, a birthday party, an opportunity to learn the guitar, an opportunity to go out and, go to Dream World, and just things that children do. And so we visited the Mercy Center. Mercy Center is an orphanage down in Krungthep. And when we got there, we met some 60 children living with HIV, and we fell in love with those children. Today, I know each one of them individually, and I must say they are some wonderful people with great potential. These children go to school and come back to the orphanage. Wake up the next morning, go to school, come back to the orphanage. This is their routine. They don't have the opportunities we have. They don't get to go to Emporium and watch Hunger Games. They don't get to do the sort of things that we take for granted. They don't get to succeed. They don't get to do the things that we do, and we wanted to give them those things. And So that was our mission, basically to create a bond with them, let them feel like, not through empathy, not through sympathy, but through empathy, in the sense that we don't want to be like, oh, we're here to help you out, bro. Not that kind of thing. More of an approach where we're an equal, we're friends. And I give them as much as they give me. And I will tell you how this has happened through the slides. And so that was our goal. And I'll give you an example of one of the children. I have a picture of him later on. His name is Tharin, and he loves drumming. He has ADHD, and he also has HIV. And he wasn't doing too well in school. So he told me that, I really want to learn the drums. So I went back to my school, and I spoke to a few of my friends and said, hey, can we do something about this? So we got a drum set and a few other instruments. We got people to donate it, set it up in his school, in the orphanage, and then I had one of my friends, Victor, teach him the drums. And Victor's really good at the drums. And I'm going to tell you something really interesting. And that is Victor taught him the drums for 2 months, and then he had to quit. Because what Tharin learned in 2 months was more than what Victor learned in 2 years. Victor could no longer teach Tharin the drums because he was not good enough. And we were stuck with the dilemma, like, Victor is really good. We thought Victor was amazing. We had to get a professional teacher. And this is just an example, one example of how much potential these children have. Tharin could not succeed in school, but he could succeed in the drums, in this instrument, which might take him somewhere in the future. And that is something an example of something we've done. So we visit the orphanage every Saturday. Actually, my friends went this morning. I was unable to go, but we go on a daily basis every Saturday. And when we go there, we just sit with these children, talk to them, find out what they like. And this is how I found out that Tharin likes the drums. And we just play games, get to know them, and just play football. And it's really surprising, because this one time I took the NIS varsity soccer team there, and they lost almost. They actually won by barely, because these children are amazing in football. And this is just another example of how much potential they have. And that is what we're trying to bring out, the best in them. Give them the opportunities that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Another event that we did, which I think was very, very interesting, was the Christmas event. And that is, the Mercy Center is a Christian orphanage, so these children are Christian. And we figured, they've never had a Christmas party. Why not give them a Christmas party? Christmas presents. We all get excited as children to open gifts. Why not give them that opportunity? And so we did it. We asked the children to write what they want on a piece of paper. We took it back in school and we hung it on a tree. You can take a look at the picture on the left. There are cards hung on a tree. That's what we did. Went back to school. Students picked up the cards, went out, bought the gifts, wrapped it up, wrote a personal message, and gave it to us to give to the children. So came Christmas Day, we had, Swedish meatballs. I have a Swedish friend who's also part of the project, and he was able to get a Swedish meatballs. We had sausages, we had buns, we had burgers, and Christmassy food, pie, cupcakes. We got there with all this food and the presents, and the children just picked up the meatballs, and what on earth is this? They were just they were afraid to eat it. And they were just can't we just eat mama? Can't we just stick to the normal things that, we usually eat? And we were like, just try it. It's something really cool. And it was really interesting as they actually tried to eat these Western, Christmassy food. This year we just stuck to pizza, because we figured, just keep it safe, pizza. And they liked the pizza, so that was nice. And the gifts. There's something really interesting with the gifts is a lot of people got exactly what they asked for, and so they were really happy. And they kept on reading the personal message. There was this one kid, her name is Foy. She came up to me and she said, hey, P,ช่วยอ่านให้ได้ไหมครับ? Can you please read this for me? And I said, sure. I read it, and I translated it. And it was something something along the lines of, and I do not remember exactly what it said, but it said something along the lines of, you deserve this opportunity, or something really nice and touching. And Foy asked me to read this message over and over again. And that is something that really, really, told me that what I was doing was right. The fact that she was so interested in the personal message She was as interested in the message as she was on the actual present. Really made me feel that, it's not just about the materialistic things, but it's also about the bond that they can create by looking at these messages. These are just some of the pictures of the gifts we gave during the Christmas day, and that's me dressed up as Santa Claus. They actually knew it was me. They didn't fall for it. And maybe I should have worked a little bit more over here. But so it was a great day overall. That's Tharin with his drums. And so this was the Christmas party we had. Another event that we did was the ceramic figurines and the frames. And basically this was World AIDS Day, this year and the year before. And we wanted to raise some money to give the children, a gift. Just something nice. So we asked them to write down something they wanted and to paint a ceramic. These are some of the ceramics that they painted. And we sold those ceramics in school. And with the money, we bought the children what they wanted. Now you might be thinking, why do you guys keep giving them gifts? But that's because the gifts that they ask for isn't the latest iPod or the latest MacBook. It's a book about Japan. It's something that, we take for granted. There are things that we do not think of asking for as a gift that they ask for. And that is why we want to give it to them. And that is why we keep giving them gifts. These are just some of the pictures of NIST students who actually bought the ceramics. And another event that we did was the Mercy Fund Day, and I think this was amazing. We figured, like I said before, these children go from the orphanage to school, back to the orphanage, to school, back to the orphanage. They don't actually get to experience, anything more than that. So we figured, what's a cheap way of giving them a great time? NIST. My school is huge. There's a swimming pool, there's a football court, like every other international school. There's all these facilities that we don't even, consider, we just take for granted. We figured, why not bring these children in? Let them swim, let them play soccer, let them, work on some art stuff, let them paint, let them go crazy in the theater with the mic and the lighting system and the projectors and all those things that we think, are just everyday stuff. And that's what we did. We got them into NIST, and this is just a picture of them in NIST. And they had the times of their lives. They did not want to leave. They kept going, พี่โรงเรียนสวยมากเลยครับโรงเรียนสนุกมากเลยครับ They didn't want to leave. They were just like, can we stay here? Can we stay here? Can we not leave? And the next weekend, on Saturday when I went back, can we go again? When's the next time we can go? Swimming was so fun. Because they don't have a pool back in their orphanage. They don't have a full-size football court. Things that we take for granted every day. It's as simple as giving them that opportunity. This is outside by the playground right after the event. This is after swimming, so they're already tired. And the thing is, during these activities, you learn a lot from them. I am Thai by passport, and my Thai isn't as good as someone with a Thai, my Thai should be as a Thai nationality. But every time I go to the orphanage, these children, who are so much younger than me, are always able to correct me. If I make a mistake, they're just there. And they laugh at me because I make a mistake. And, they correct me. And that is the kind of bond that I always wanted to have. That equality, in the sense that I give them ceramic gifts. I give them opportunities to pursue what they want. At the same time, they give me something. They make me the person I am. They teach me Thai. And they're better than me in football. I don't know how, but they are. They were amazing at football. And just these little things. And this is what Dreams We Believe In is about. This is a few more pictures from the Mercy Fund Day. That's me playing football with one of the kids. She is amazing. Do not underestimate her from her size. And that's in the playground and just a few pictures. We got them tattoos because, we figured, as a kid, I always wanted a tattoo. So just these little things that we do not, things that they really appreciate. And So I just want to share a few more stories about people that, we helped out. Prayer and Fawn, two blind girls who also had HIV. They were not born blind, but they were locked into a dark room because her parents were embarrassed of, her parents had to go to work and did not have time for the children. So they locked them into a room for 2 years. Basically, the baby was in the room for 2 years, in a dark room. And they became blind, both of them, because they were locked in a dark room. And you know, people in the Mercy Center found out about these children and went out and said, hey, come to our orphanage. And when they first came, they were unable to talk, communicate. They were unable to, well, they couldn't read because they were blind. They couldn't see, they couldn't communicate with us, and we felt really bad. We approached the government saying, you know, can these children join the Braille education system for free? And they said no, because they have HIV. And this is really embarrassing, but it happened. And as a Thai citizen, I was really embarrassed, and I said, this is not going to work out. So we went back to school, and we had this event. Some of you in NIS know the classic annual dodgeball competition. It's become an annual thing in NIS now, and it's basically students and teachers make up teams and, you know, come and compete in dodgeball. And each team pays a fee of 1,000 baht. This year we just had it on March. It happens every March annually. This is the second one we had. And we raise around 40 to 50,000 baht each time we do this event. With that money, we contacted a Braille teacher and said, you know, we will pay you 7,000 baht every month for you to go in and teach these children, these 2 girls, twice a week. And that is what we did. Today, both prayer and phone can read, well, Braille. They can understand, read Braille. And they're still continuing their education, and they actually, this next semester, in the next 2 months, they're going to try and take an exam to join the government Braille school. If that works out, it's great. So, yep. And Living with a Tiger is a movie directed by Mike Thomas about HIV/AIDS and equality and that kind of thing. I just wanted to bring it up because it's a great movie. So if you haven't watched it yet, you can talk to me about it. I'll get you the movie. You guys are probably wondering, what can you do to help? And I just want to say that there are 60 children living in the Mercy Center. There are 15,000 children with HIV in Thailand. If you calculate that as a percentage, and I'm really bad at maths, but I think it's 0.01% or something like that, some ridiculously small number. The number of children that I am currently working with is not even 0.001% of the total number of children living with HIV in Thailand. So what is it that we can all do? It's simple. Giving these people a place in society. Being able to go up and shake their hand. Being able to go and give them, you know, a hug. Being able, because you cannot possibly get HIV from shaking a victim's hand. That is a misconception or ignorance. I don't know what it is, but I had it in the beginning. The first time I went to the Mercy Center, I will admit that I wore long sleeves. I will admit that my parents kept calling me, hey Sid, are you okay? Hey, do not touch the children. Hey, go wash your hands. Truth is, you cannot get HIV unless you go through a blood transfusion, sexual intercourse. People say that if you make out with someone with HIV, if you French kiss them, you get HIV. You have to drink 42 liters of their saliva before you can get HIV. So unless you're willing to drink 42, unless you somehow magically take in 42 liters of saliva while making out with someone who has HIV, you cannot acquire the disease. And that is the attitude that I want to change. It is as simple as giving them an opportunity. It's as simple as saying hi to them. It's as simple as, you know, treating them as you would treat me, an equal. And that is what I'm fighting for, and that is what Dreams We Believe In is doing. If you guys want any more information, come contact me. We have a website, www.twbigroup.com. Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity.